The planet for my presentation was Mars. This is a photo showing the seasons of Mars during its rotation around the Sun. The history of Mars is very interesting. It was first discovered by Galileo Galilei, discovered in Mars in 1610 using a primitive telescope he had invented in Venice, Italy. The planet was named after the ancient Roman god of war, also known by the Greeks as Ares. This is an artist's depiction of what Galileo may have looked like, as there weren't cameras around at the time he was alive. The solar system in context to Mars. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun. It is 1.52 astronomical units from the Sun, or 236.7 million kilometers from the Sun. It takes Mars 687 Earth days to rotate around the Sun. A Martian day is 24 hours and 37 minutes. Planet measurements for Mars. Mars has a mass of 6.39 times 10 to the 23rd kilograms. Mars's volume is 1.6318 times 10 to the 1,011 kilometers cubed. The equatorial circumference of Mars is 21,344 kilometers. The mean density of Mars is 3.93 grams to the centimeter cubed, and the gravity is 3.721 meters a second squared. This is about a third of Earth's gravity. If you weighed 100 pounds on Earth, you would weigh about 38 pounds on Mars. Mars is a small round planet. It has a striking red appearance, and when opposite from the Sun at its optimal viewing time, it can be... Mars is a small round planet. It has a strikingly red appearance, and when opposite from the Sun at its optimal viewing time, it can be twice as bright as the star Sirius. A fun fact about Mars is that Mars has the tallest mountain in the entire solar system. The mountain is called Olympus Mons. It is 21 kilometers or 13 miles high, and it is 2.5 times taller than Mount Everest, which is the tallest mountain on Earth. The composition of the atmosphere in Mars. The composition of atmosphere of Mars. Mars's core is comprised of metallic iron and nickel surrounded by a less dense silicate mantle and crust. Mars's core is primarily comprised of metallic iron and nickel surrounded by a less dense silicate mantle. Mars's core is primarily comprised of metallic iron and nickel surrounded by a less dense silicate mantle and crust. The surface of Mars is comprised of silicon, oxygen, iron, and magnesium. Major gases within Mars's atmosphere are carbon dioxide, which is 95% of the atmosphere, 2.6% molecular nitrogen, and some of the minor gases within the atmosphere are 1.9% argon, 0.16% molecular oxygen, and 0.06% carbon monoxide. Some of the surface conditions of Mars are wind speeds averaging from 16 to 32 kilometers an hour. Temperature ranges average from 81 degrees Fahrenheit. Some of the surface conditions of Mars include things such as wind speeds averaging from 16 to 32 kilometers per hour, temperature ranges of around 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and a surface pressure of 6.518 millibars or 0.095 pressures per square inch. Pressure PSI. I'm just going to say PSI. And the surface pressure of 6.518 millibars or 0.095 psi. Below is a depiction of what a Martian storm may look like. Mars has two moons, Phobos, which is 22 kilometers across and is the more interesting of the two, and Deimos, its little brother, which is only about 13 kilometers across. Phobos was actually named after the Greek god Phobos, who was one... Okay. Phobos gets its name from the Greek god Phobos, who is the twin brother of Deimos and the son of Ares and Aphrodite. It is the larger of the two moons orbiting Mars and was discovered along with Deimos by American astronomer Asaph Hall in 1877. As you can see to the left, it is about 22 kilometers across. Some of the missions to Mars or launches such as some of the missions for Mars include things such as the Mars Global Some of the missions to Mars include things such as the Mars Global Surveyor, Mars Surveyor 98, 2001 Mars Odyssey, Mars Exploration Rover, and others. Many of them had separate vehicles and launch dates and launch vehicles and statuses that you can see on the chart included. That you can see on the chart below. That you can see on the chart below. That you can see on the chart below. Some of the other missions to Mars were missions such as Phoenix, Mars Science Laboratory, MAVEN, InSight, Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, and Mars 2020, which is still active today. 5 of which are still active today. The most recent mission includes Mars 2020. The most recent mission is Mars 2020 and includes 2 rovers, Perseverance and Ingenuity. We will learn more about Ingenuity on the next slide. Ingenuity was included on the mission Mars 2020 and was launched on July 30th in 2020 at 11:50 UTC. Orbital insertion and landing date was February 18th, 2021, and orbital insertion and landing date on Mars was the landing date on Mars Ingenuity landed on the surface of Mars on February 18th, 2020 at 20:55 UTC. The launch vehicle included Atlas V 541 or AV-088. The status is that it's still currently operational today, and so far it has lasted for 237 days. The photo included is a depiction of what Ingenuity may look like after it had landed on Mars. The photo below is a rendering of what Ingenuity may have looked like when landing on Mars. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this presentation. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this presentation. It's been very informational. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this presentation. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this presentation and are ready to take the quiz. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this presentation and are prepared to take and are Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars from this presentation and are ready to take the quiz. Hopefully you've learned a lot about Mars within this presentation and are ready to take the quiz.